Hi, I'm Emma Theofelus, a Member of Parliament and the Deputy Minister in the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology. Well, the access to information law is quite important and such a milestone for Namibia because, well, we're one of the very few countries on the continent that have an Access to Information Act at all. But most importantly, it's important in our governance infrastructure and architecture for citizens to have a way to access government information. Namibia, although had a lot of international instruments that we're signatory to, as well as in our constitution that guarantees the right to information, it was important to actually put together a law that will guide government and citizens on how they can access information that could potentially change their lives forever, but also empower them with the necessary information to make the right decisions where their lives are concerned. And I believe these are the critical ways in which the access to information is quite important in our context. Well, I just announced this morning that the Ministry of ICT is done with the regulations around the Access to Information Act, and we've actually submitted them to the Office of the Attorney General for certification, and once that is done, hopefully they'll be operational. Once that is done, it actually empowers the ministry to put into work the Office of the Information Commissioner, which is a very important office because it empowers citizens to actually start the process of accessing information, and if there are any obstacles, there is actually a mediator to ensure that that right is guaranteed. Moreover, I believe that technology is fast changing, and the way information is being disseminated today is being done first of all on various platforms, but also in a way that not everybody has access to. We also have information abuse where people actually put out information without verifying or authenticating it. I believe this law will be able to guide citizens, particularly on how to get the right information and to use that information in a positive manner, not only to build our nation, but also to empower our citizenry. As a ministry, it's a pride, really, that we're able to pass this law, one of very few countries on the continent to do so. It will ensure that we have an informed citizenry. And this is our mandate as a Ministry of Information. We want to disseminate information. We want citizens to use that information and ensure we have some relationship between government programs and activities and the citizenry. This will make our work so much easier as a ministry, but also will ensure that we meet our targets as a government institution. As a country that has serious democratic principles, His Excellency the President Dr. Hage Geingob always speaks about our systems, institutions, and processes as a guiding democratic tool. Therefore, this particular act in our line of work will ensure that we have a citizenry that is not left behind in terms of the institutions, processes, and systems we actually use in government, but also that our democracy is strengthened, because an informed nation is an empowered nation. An empowered nation is one that is able to add value to the democratic and democracy governance skills, democracy governance ideals, and ensure that we have a citizenry that accepts democracy as a way of governing. And I believe this law will ensure that when the nation is informed about its rights, about government's processes and institutions, it's able to make decisions, whether during elections or after elections, to ensure that our democracy continues to grow from strength to strength. I believe as a country we've done very well around literacy rates. Majority of our population and adult population is quite literate. We have some challenges around the digital literacy area because it's still a growing way of communicating across the country, and therefore as the Ministry of ICT we're doing so much work to ensure that we have digital literacy programs to ensure that citizens are digitally literate. And unfortunately, on the margins of that is marginalized communities, whether from the rural areas or from certain sections of our society, cultural backgrounds that sometimes are left behind in terms of digital literacy programs or digital literacy efforts. And this is why I believe this access to information law will strengthen all those efforts we are trying to embark on as a ministry, so that certain sections of communities in our country do not continue being left behind where literacy is concerned, and that they're able to come to the table, get the necessary information in written form on social media platforms, through TV and radio and other platforms, in order to achieve these goals of being a digitally literate and adult literate nation. And I believe the media is a very important factor in that. Moreover, they have a responsibility to report accurately and in a manner that citizens can use that information to improve their lives, but also to build the nation. Because all this is for nothing if the information being disseminated is geared towards breaking down our societal ideals. And therefore, I encourage the media to continue upholding those ethics, but play a proactive role in providing accurate and verified information to the public, so that we are able to build a nation of people that are informed, but informed with the right information.